What is a suffix? A suffix is a letter or group of letters added to the end of a word to change its meaning, grammatical function, or part of speech. The addition of a suffix can form a noun, adjective, verb, or adverb. Attaching a suffix impacts a word in one of two ways. Inflectional suffixes alter the grammar of a word without changing its basic meaning. The change typically revolves around quantity or tense. Here are the inflectional suffixes. Ed indicates past tense, such as played. En makes an irregular past participle, like bitten, or an irregular plural for words like oxen. Er is usually comparative, like with smaller, while est creates a superlative, as in brightest. Ing indicates a continuation or progress, for example, napping. Finally, s makes a third-person singular verb, like he talks, or a plural, such as lions. Adding a derivational suffix changes the meaning and part of speech of the root word. However, there is still a connection between the original and new words. The new meaning is derived or obtained from the root or base word. The suffixes er, ment, ness, and sion make a word a noun. Some examples are farmer, excitement, usefulness, and confusion. Al, able, ary, and y create adjectives like accidental, predictable, planetary, and dirty. Ate and ize are verb suffixes that make words such as activate and symbolize. Ly words are adverbs like quietly. Suffixes that start with a consonant attached directly to the end of a word with no spelling changes. For example, plain turns to plainly. When a root word ends in a consonant before a y, change the y to an I, then add the suffix. See how lazy swaps its y for an I to become laziness. If a word has more than one syllable and ends with an L, double the L before adding the suffix. Metal needs a second L before it can be metallic. When a root word ends in IE, change it to a Y before adding the suffix ing. For example, tie becomes tying. Suffixes that begin with vowels have a few rules. If the root word ends in two consonants, just add the suffix, like scrolling. If the root word has one syllable, one short vowel, and one final consonant, double the final consonant before adding the suffix. Here, run needs a second N to become running. For words that end with a silent E, drop the E and add the suffix. Excite becomes excitable. Now let's see when you should keep the silent E. Do not drop the silent E with root words that end in EE or YE. Words like agree and I don't change their spelling when you add a suffix. With root words that end in CE or GE, keep the silent E for suffixes that begin with A or O. For example, advantage keeps the silent E for the suffix OUS to create advantageous. Keep the E when adding the suffix ly. Late simply becomes lately. Finally, do not remove the silent E for the suffix ful. Peaceful keeps the silent E of peace.